I don't even know how to start this. Hi friends, so it has been a minute. If you haven't noticed, I've been offline for a little while, and that's because your girl finally got a real job. Now, before you congratulate me, I gotta say, I am not too thrilled. I've been out of the workforce for about, 4 years basically. So my last corporate job ended in November of 2017. They went bankrupt. It had nothing to do with me. So after that, I kind of, did my own thing. That's when I traveled, I was modeling, and then I started to make enough modeling that I was like, why work 40 hours when I can work 7 and make the same amount of money? So that's what I was doing. But then I felt my brain turning into mush. So then I started working. I worked for a doctor. I then started working for an accountant. So modeling and freelancing, it was good. And I was able to do it for 4 years and be totally fine. But I realized pretty early on that it would not be sustainable. I also felt with modeling and freelancing, I was like, the longer I do this, the harder it's gonna be to get out of it. So that's when I started looking for a real job. And this past year has been super stressful for me. The accountant I work with is just the worst person I've ever met. And I've met a lot of terrible people, but he is truly the worst. And I was like, this can't be my life, So that's another big reason I, decided to really start looking. Back in January, I asked for resume help, and Lauren was a great resource for that. So my resume got a lot of bites. I have to say, I never put out one job application. There was not a time where I went like, oh, I want to work at Netflix. Let me submit a resume. That never happened. It was all through recruiters. But you know what? I was getting inundated with recruiters. Like, I would probably talk to like 10 a week and then nothing would happen. So that's why in like the summertime, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this on my terms, look for a job I want, and get disappointed that way. So I was gonna do that, and then I got a call out of the blue from a recruiter that I had talked to back in March. This is now August. And they're like, are you still looking for a job? And I was like, I guess so. So went through that process and ended up getting the job. You know what, and I only like said yes because I was like, interview experience, okay. And then I ended up getting it. So yeah, I finally got a real corporate job again, but I'm not as relieved as I thought I would be. So my new job is in the insurance industry. I am a senior accountant, which is the title I wanted, but I've been in my position for about a month and it really sucks. I'll just say it. This job sucks. And now I'm like, are all jobs like this, or is it this company and this job position that sucks? So that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm not a quitter, but like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? I've had a really bad job history. It looks good on paper. Like my first job out of college was at Pfizer, but it was a bad job. So I feel like looking at my resume, just looking at a list of bad luck, So when I was looking, I wanted to work in tech. Like that's something that interests me. That's the kind of route I wanted to go into. And when the recruiter called me about the insurance job, again, I just thought, I'm like, oh, it'll be interview experience. I'll go through the process, whatever. And then like I kept getting further, and the recruiter, all recruiters are trying to make money off you. No one truly wants to help you, FYI. They get a commission when you get a job. So I literally felt like I had a knife to my throat. Like he was like, you're gonna say yes if they give it to you, right? You're gonna say yes. And I was like, Jesus, fine. Ugh. I just hated that whole process with them. Also, the background check process was a doozy because I work under the table. So like, I was really nervous about that whole process, but it's cleared, we're good. I just don't want to go through that process again. So again, I have to stay at this job for a while to like push that under the table stuff back a few years. I do have to say, my coworkers and my manager are really nice. So at least there's that, but I only went on 3 interviews, maybe 2 before this, and I talked about them in the vlog in June. So I really only went through like 2 kind of disappointments, even though one I definitely didn't want, before I ended up getting a job. So now I'm like, oh, could I have reached for the stars a little more and really went for like a company I wanted, knowing that like it was pretty easy for me to actually get a position. On my 3rd try, I got one. So that thought is probably gonna haunt me for a few years, because pretty much right after I accepted this, I've talked about this in the past, there's companies I wanted to work at, but they just weren't hiring a senior accountant. After I got this, my like #1 company was looking for a few senior accountants, and I was like, my timing, but I'm not gonna, you know, I'll wait, but like, why? I think over the past few years, I've also psyched myself out job search wise, because there's been so many times where you apply to a job on their website and just goes into the abyss. You know, why bother if it's never gonna be seen by a human, you know? So I kind of psyched myself out that way, and I was making money modeling, so I was like, I'm fine, but I wasn't fine. You know, it was good, but like I said, not sustainable in the long term. So yeah, I have a job, but I feel like I just wanted it to be more so on my terms. I had a wish list of stuff I wanted, and I'm kind of getting like the Walmart version of that. So at least I have a job, because there's a lot of people, you know, putting out 200 resumes a week and getting nothing. So I have to be grateful for that. But again, I wanted it to be on my terms, and I really hate that I helped a recruiter make a commission off of me. Anyways, here's the part that I haven't told anyone about. So this is the big life-changing news, and the reason why I was kind of in a job search for a whole year, because I was only searching in one area. San Diego, baby. So my new job, while it's remote right now and I'm just banking my paychecks, living with my parents, my new job is in San Diego. So only my brother knows. That's why I took that second luggage piece to San Diego, because I had all my computer stuff shipped to his house, brought it back with me to start working in New Jersey. So not even my parents know. I don't know how I'm gonna tell them. I don't know when I'm gonna tell them. I also don't know when I'm actually getting out there. Like I said, I wanna kind of save as many paychecks as I can. There is no plan to go back in office yet, and it better be hybrid or I will turn into Carrie White. My first day was October 4th, and my original plan was to move out during Thanksgiving, because you have those 2 days off and then the weekend, and I could probably like pop a PTO day before or after, because I've done the drive across America. It takes 4 days. So I knew I had to do kind of like a holiday weekend, but even on October 1st, I was like, that's kind of absurd. I don't have enough time. So that is not happening. So I am still aiming for a holiday weekend to use as little PTO as possible. Maybe aiming for like January-ish now, like Martin Luther King Jr. Day, who knows? But eventually, that is where I'll be. So the reason for that big move is that I wanted a big life change. I actually saw a quote like literally yesterday, and I'm like, oh, that pertains to my life. And it said, you got to take the next step or you'll be doing the same shit for the rest of your life. And I'm coming up on my 33rd birthday, and I felt like a loser for a while. And I'm like, I can't be 33 and a loser, because I feel like I've been living in Groundhog Day for the past 10 years. So it'll be the nice kick in the ass. You know, it's not gonna magically change my life. I know that. But it'll be nice to be in a different environment, different people. And again, a little kick in the butt to start doing different things. It reminds me, Adam Sandler hosted SNL like 3 years ago, and he's playing this Italian tour guide. He's like, if you're depressed in America, you're still gonna be depressed in Italy, just so we're clear. And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, you know, it's not gonna magically change my life, but there will be palm trees. And yes, I am prepared for everyone to say, it's so expensive. The top 3 most expensive places in America are New Jersey, New York, and then California. So I'm used to seeing none of my paycheck. Like, I worked in New York, lived in New Jersey, so I was getting double taxed. So trust me, I know expensive. Moving out wise and apartment wise, I'm like, okay, would I rather spend $1,500 in Mahwah, New Jersey, or $1,500 in Pacific Beach, California? You know, you make the decision. Again, palm trees. Maybe that'll help my seasonal depression. But yeah, I just felt like my life needs a shift. I can always come back. That's the thing. You can always find your way back home, as Hannah Montana once said. And honestly, I'm really only gonna miss like 4 people, Psycho Bar, and my bagel guy. So I'm not leaving much behind. I am pretty much a free agent and can bop around wherever. But San Diego will be good. I've been there a few times because my brother lives there. At least I know my brother's there. Maggie, Satin, my uncle, my aunt, like I have people there. So it's not like a complete, like, I don't know, a soul here. So it'll be good. I did say only my brother knows, but Maggie and Satin do know, because after the wedding, Satin's like, can't you see yourself living here? I'm like, well, actually, and her face lit up. And Maggie's been sending me apartments like every other day. So that's the next part. I do have to buy a new car because my Jeep is 17 years old and I don't trust it getting to the grocery store. And I do have to find an apartment. So 2 big purchases within the next 60 days. That's gonna suck, but I have to grow up sometime. Also, it's historically the worst time in the history of automation to buy a car, and here I am wanting a Toyota. My timing is impeccable. Also, apartment-wise, like, I know I'm gonna have to get a roommate, and I'm okay with that, but, you know, that's gonna be a tough search, you know? Also, finding an apartment that takes dogs, and one that licks her vagina all day. Another little bump in the road that I'm gonna have to do. That's where I'm at right now, searching, all that stuff. So if you know anyone who wants a roommate, let me know. But yeah, I just kind of felt like my life needed a shift. I felt very behind in life, and I know comparison is the thief of joy, blah, 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 but it's really hard not to compare yourself when you look at everyone you graduated with is like at the director level at their company or whatever, and like has kids and buys a house and all this stuff, and you're like, what? Like, when did this happen? So what does that mean for me and my channel? Do not worry, I'm not gonna go Hollywood on you. I'm not a YouTuber who moves to LA because, one, I'm barely a YouTuber. Would have been nice these past couple years for YouTube to work out in the way I kind of wanted it to. And that's not even to say like, 100,000 subscribers, all this stuff, brand trips. I would love to just make like the tiniest bit of money on YouTube. I make enough money on YouTube to buy Betty's food every month and like a little bit of clothes for hauls. Like, don't think I'm rolling in money on YouTube here. I probably will dye my hair a little blonder because now I have a little bit more money. So in that way, I might go Hollywood on you. I do know there was a few people who like me because I'm East Coast and I have red hair. So don't think much is gonna change. I am very jazzed to check out new places. Like, I would love to do a Santa Barbara weekend, a Joshua Tree weekend, go to Arizona, go camping in Utah, like all that kind of stuff, the national parks. Like, that's what I'm excited about, like little weekend trips. I've ran the numbers a few times. I know what I can afford, and I'll still be able to have like fun money. Like, I'm not gonna be like eating bark. But yeah, I just don't know timeline right now. Still have to buy a car to get there. Still have to find an apartment. So there's a lot still up in the air. Don't love my job, but at least I have one. But at least I'll live in the palm trees. So that's, you know, a nice life shift. How do I tell my parents? When do I tell my parents? I don't know. That was my life update. And why I've been kind of missing for a while. I've just been working a lot. My big goal with getting a new job is like, now I don't ever have to go on an audition again. And I've been in the city while working my full-time job 4 times so far. So running to something, getting a WeWork, running to something else, working from my agent's office at the modeling agency, like, it's too much. So I can't wait to be away from that and tell them to fuck off. Like, I am ready to walk away from modeling. And that's not to say that in the iceberg's chance in hell that like ModCloth or Torrid like calls me one day and wants me to model, I'm definitely gonna say yes to that, but like modeling as a career and the hustle of it, I'm done. Let me get back to where I was. I'm so fucking long-winded. So yeah, I've been busy because I'm still working for the accountant, you know, nights and weekends where I can. I'm trying to grab as much cash as I can before I go back down to having one job. So after this goes up, I do have a few vlogs that I filmed during October. So like my first day of my job, the Jonas Brothers concert. So I'll hit you with those. So they'll be like a month late, but there's still a vlog telling you what I was going through, raw emotions. So there's this, there's that. Then I have my regular fashion stuff. So we'll get back on track. Blast your ass with content this whole week, but like we'll get back on track. We'll get back in real time. But yeah, I haven't had a moment to breathe in a full month. But yeah, packing wise, like I did order a bunch of stuff for Black Friday, but I'm also trying to get rid of everything I own. It's a very fine line I'm walking, so check out my Poshmark. I am trying to get rid of most things I own, and any Poshmark money is gonna be my moving money because of course I didn't pick a company that will pay me to move. So it's all gonna be on me. So all my Poshmark money is gonna like buy me gas, buy me motels, in Kansas and eventually buy me a new mattress. Like, that's what my Poshmark money is gonna be used for. Also, just for me to declutter, because I'm gonna be buying all new furniture, so it's truly just gonna be me, my clothes, and the dog in the car. Like, what other worldly possessions do I have? Nothing. So yeah, thank you for sitting through this whole thing. It took me a while to gather my thoughts. I meant to like post like a life update before I started working, but like it just never happened. So here you go. That's what I'm up to. This is my life now. But yeah, big changes. So mildly terrified, but overall excited to start a new life. Your girl is moving 3,000 miles away and I'm finally growing up. I'm still gonna be cool though.